The remodelling of Inner West Glebe's public housing estate has begun, with demolition commencing on Housing New South Wales Cowper Street apartment blocks. Housing New South Wales claims the site will be redeveloped as a mixed tenure estate, accommodating both public and private housing residents. The Glebe housing project plans will result in a net loss of public housing space, with the presently existing 2 to 3 bedroom apartments being replaced by 1 bedroom dwellings.
The problem is that most of the new buildings that are being built are only 1 bedroom, whereas the buildings which have been demolished are 3 bedroom properties. So families will find it very difficult to return. It will have a significant impact. We know that while 139 dwellings are being destroyed, most of them are 3 bedroom. And while they are replacing it with 19 more public housing dwellings, the total amount of accommodation for those people in social housing will be significantly reduced. So we think it will make a really strong impact on public housing residents, and we think there should be an investment in public housing rather than a reduction in the amount of accommodation available. Well, a lot of local people who live next to the site are very concerned about it because it's up to 10 stories high. We're going from 139 dwellings to over 500. It's a massive development of the site which has very significant impacts.
Residents are fearful that they will be moved from the suburb in a bid by the New South Wales government to hasten the suburb's gentrification. A community meeting held in Have a Chat Cafe, located on Mitchell Street, Glebe, and run by Hope Street Charity, served as a forum for locals to vent the concerns they have surrounding the redevelopment. Residents, along with Hope Street, believe that Housing New South Wales is allowing public housing buildings in the area to fall into disrepair, so that there is justification for further private development. There is also concern surrounding the redevelopment and the effect it will have on Glebe's built environment.
I live on Cowper Street, but I live opposite the pub.
Oh, okay, yeah, we were up there.
And we're just sort of like, when are they coming after us? They've gone after them. You know, if they come for you, they'll probably come for us tomorrow.
So do you think that there's a chance of that actually happening in the near future?
Well, as greedy as they are, and as much as they want to sell this to the developers, and as much as they're owned by the developers already, yeah, I think it's a real possibility.
So have you lost a lot of people who lived in those apartments across?
There were a lot of really good people who loved living there. They'd been there for a long time, and it was reasonable living. It was 3 levels, so you didn't have to go up really high. There was green things around you. You could grow things. You could feel like you were, you know, in a reasonably peaceful environment. And now they lie. I hate liars. I hate those politicians who piss in your face and tell you it's rain. Oh, we're going to redevelop this, and we're going to have more public housing. Oh, people aren't against change. When I first heard about the development, I thought, great, that would be nice. I'll have a nice mixture. People get to know each other. Different races, different economic groups. Great. But it was lies to begin with. They were just, again, as you say BS, and as I say, pissing in our face and telling us it's rain.
As yet, there are no formal plans in place to redevelop the site, while residents have been moved out for building works to commence. There is also anger surrounding the proposal due to the history of the estate, which was sold to the state government by the Anglican Church and has historically been an area used to accommodate the financially disadvantaged.
These sites, these dwellings are being demolished at the moment, and there's no plan. There's no development application which has been lodged. The private sector partner to develop this site has not been secured. So we'll be waiting for what may be up to 2 years for anything to be built on this site.
Right, yes, there's a group of us that are chasing around at the moment, looking for the original conditions upon which the glebe was sold by the Anglican Church in 1971-72 to the New South Wales, or actually to the Commonwealth Government, was the arrangement. There is a belief abroad in Glebe on the public housing estate that those conditions included paragraphs indicating that the housing stock here was not to be sold off for any purpose, whether it was fundraising or just to gentrify the area.
Residents of Cowper Street itself, who occupy the publicly owned Victorian terraces across from the development site, are frustrated about the impacts it has had on their living conditions and are concerned by the fact that the low-rise blocks currently positioned on the site will be replaced by a high-rise development.
Well, it doesn't affect me directly except for the dust, the noise, constant traffic. The parking is getting ridiculous. Apart from that, I'm going to lose a lot of daylight because of the high rises going up, and you don't get much in terrace houses as it is. There's no off-street parking for these houses, which makes it hard. And the amount of residents that are going to be moving in there, parking is going to become ridiculous. It'll end up being another Waterloo in the way I look at it.
11-storey high-rises are set to replace the 4-storey apartment blocks currently existing on Cowper Street at Glebe. Residents are afraid that the new apartment blocks will resemble this so-called suicide tower on Wentworth Street, about 2 minutes away from Cowper Street. The tower is referred to as a suicide tower due to the ease with which public housing residents have been able to throw themselves off the side of the building, plunging to their deaths. However, residents who occupy privately owned dwellings in Glebe are relieved about the proposal. With a median house price over $1 million and a median apartment price over $600,000, the suburb is beginning to run at 2 speeds. Private residents believe that gentrification and privatisation in the area are inevitable and desirable. This year, the New South Wales Bureau of Crime Statistics and Research reported that Glebe Point Road, just within the western border of the suburb's most centralised portion of public housing, was found to be a hot spot for assaults.